we've got the news of the day, and the newscasters are gay. With Sean Madrid
and Luke Goodhart, coming to you live from our studios in downtown Tucson. First, local headlines.
On Tuesday, Arizona's attorneys asked the Court of Appeals to block Dreamer students from receiving in-state tuition. Assistant Attorney General Rusty Crandrell says that a 1998 voter-approved law reserves in-state tuition to those with unlawful immigration status. Crandell says that Dreamers, young people who were brought to the U.S. as children, are not covered in this case because only Congress can authorize lawful presence. But in June of 2012, President Obama did sign a Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA Act, into law. The law allows Dreamers to receive driver's licenses, to work legally in the country, and in Arizona to receive in-state tuition for college. In-state tuition is a third of the price compared to out-of-state tuition, allowing for many Arizona residents to get their degrees without a huge amount of debt. And Mary O'Grady, who represents Maricopa Community College, argues that DACA recipients do meet residency requirements. With Donald Trump set to take office in less than 2 weeks, DACA itself is hanging in the balance. Trump campaigned on being tough on illegal immigration and has talked about ending the law. In today's confirmation hearing, Jeff Sessions said that repealing DACA would be constitutional, but the issue would need to be studied further.
A pair of Phoenix-based publishers chose to take the Fifth Amendment in a case alleging that they helped run a sex trafficking ring through their website. Michael Lacey and James Larkin, seen here aging terribly, own the website Backpage.com, and they have decided to avoid testifying in their own case. The Senate's Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations released a report on Monday claiming that Backpage created a market that made child sex trafficking easier. Senator John McCain, who appeared at the hearing, said that the site was connected with thousands of child sex trafficking cases nationwide. The Senate's report said that 80% of ads on the Backpage site were hidden to reveal their true intention. The owners of Backpage denied the allegations and quickly shut down the adult section of the site soon after being accused. McCain jokingly said that he's sure it's pure coincidence. 2 other executives with Backpage have also refused to testify in the case.
On Monday, the first of 4 meetings about a possible Monsanto greenhouse coming to Marana was held, and the event turned into a protest against the controversial company. Monsanto wants to invest $50 million into a 7-acre greenhouse that will grow corn in Arizona. Many residents are not happy about the project and poured into the Oro Valley Library to voice their unease with the deal. Monsanto scientist Amanda McLaren spent over 2 hours answering questions from the angry crowd. Residents spoke about health concerns over Monsanto's genetically modified organisms, with many saying they do not trust Monsanto. Mike Varney of the Tucson Metro Chamber of Commerce fought back, claiming that communities suffer when there aren't enough good-paying jobs around. However, the Monsanto plant will reportedly only create about 50 jobs, with most being administrative positions for scientists. The meetings on the matter will continue throughout next week, with the next being on January 13th at 11 a.m. at the Green Valley Recreation Center.
A senior at Immaculate High School in Oro Valley is making us all feel bad about ourselves by inventing a filter that uses algae to extract lead from water. Amanda Mink has been working on the project since her freshman year in high school, since she was chosen as one of 300 students to participate in the Regeneron Science Talent Search, which had 1,800 applicants. When she was in 8th grade, Mink also developed a water filter geared toward use in Kenya. She says that she hopes to help people around the world and will go to the University of Arizona next fall to study hydrology and engineering on a full scholarship.
A powerful street drug called pink has been linked to 3 deaths in Arizona, according to the DEA. While illegal in all 50 states, pink can be purchased online from China in powder form for about $35. The DEA says that the drug, also known as U47700, is 7 times more potent than morphine. Pink is just one of a variety of designer drugs that have been appearing on the streets in recent years, with most being purchased on black market sites from China. This coincides with an epidemic of opioid abuse that devastated the U.S. in 2016. The latest death in Arizona surrounded a man who took the drug in order to treat his anxiety but never woke up. Pink has also been connected with about 50 deaths nationwide. Now in national and international news.
A potential bombshell dropped yesterday that may prove a direct link between Donald Trump and Russia. CNN revealed a document purported to be a two-page addition to intelligence reports shown last Friday to Donald Trump, President Obama, and leaders of both parties. The documents show that Russia has incriminating evidence on Trump that they're using to blackmail him. The report goes on to describe a complicated conspiracy involving Russia, Trump, and his campaign team. It says that Russia has been grooming Trump to be president for the past 5 years and has used a system of fake news to sway the election and have created hacking operations to turn public opinion against Hillary Clinton. If proven to be true, the allegations would be some of the most treasonous acts in history. But there was a fun part, too. The report says that Russia possesses video containing evidence of Trump's, quote, perversions. It then describes an incident where Trump rented a hotel room that he knew President Obama had stayed in previously. Trump then hired 2 prostitutes and watched them golden shower each other on the hotel room bed. If you're not sure what a golden shower is, Google it, but not while you're at work. Let's just say the report might explain Trump's gold obsession. To be fair, the evidence hasn't been substantiated yet, but God, do we hope it's real.
Talk about a leak. And Donald Trump held his first press conference in 6 months today. Trump tried to focus on his efforts to create jobs and his appointment of David Shulkin as head of the VA, but was soon hammered with questions over the new intelligence leaks. The president-elect denounced the reports and called intelligence agencies irresponsible for leaking the information. Even though there is no evidence that the leak came from the agencies, Trump repeatedly diverted the conversation, often bringing up Hillary Clinton's wrongdoings and the margins of his election win. Trump said that reports were wrong to claim that he has business deals in Russia. When reporters asked him if he would release his tax returns to confirm these claims, Trump told them to visit the Election Commission for some reason. He ended questions on the reports by getting a few laughs when he said that he's a germaphobe, alluding to the whole golden shower thing. Reporters missed a good spot to point out that the report said he just watched the golden showers, so no germs would have been involved if those claims are true. Following questioning of Trump by reporting, Trump spokeswoman Sherry Dillon took over to explain the incoming president's business succession plans, which sounded sketchy at best and illegal at worst. Trump refused to divest from his businesses, but is choosing to place them in a trust instead. Trump's son, Donald Jr., and his other son, Eric, along with someone named Ellen, whose last names wasn't mentioned, will manage the trust. This could refer to Alan Weisenberg or Alan Garten, both executives and close family friends of the Trumps. Or it could refer to Alan Keyes or Alan Greenspan, or even Alan Alda. We can at least eliminate Alan Thicke and Alan Rickman.
President-elect Donald Trump is calling for an immediate and quick replacement of the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare. Trump's views contrast with Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, who has called for a slow process for replacing the National Health Care Plan. Next Thursday, Congress will vote on a budget resolution that will provide protections for an ACA repeal bill, which would need to be voted on by January 27th. This didn't fit Trump's short attention span, as he called for a full repeal vote next week. Analysts say this is impossible because 1 week isn't nearly enough for Republicans to come up with a replacement, and Republicans agree. They simply haven't had time to think about a better replacement for Obamacare because they've been so busy trashing the bill for the past 6 years. Additionally, Speaker Ryan also said that the ACA is in a, quote, death spiral due to price increases for health care plans. But the Department of Health and Human Services says that enrollments increased by 300,000 despite the price hikes. The ACA now covers 11.5 million people, which doesn't exactly sound like a death spiral. Maybe Ryan was thinking of Trump's transition when he used that term?
On Tuesday, Mexico's new foreign minister, Luis Videgaray, said there's no way that Mexico will ever pay for a wall separating his country from the U.S. Building the wall was Donald Trump's central promise as president, and he has recently brought the subject back up. Trump says that taxpayers will initially pay to build the wall, but Mexico will later reimburse the U.S. for the costs, except that no one seems to have talked to Mexico on this minor detail. Foreign Minister Videgaray said that, quote, under no circumstances, not even the best possible trade deal, investments, or support would lead Mexico to paying for the wall. Videgaray said that paying for the wall would violate the dignity of Mexicans.
Believe it or not, Donald Trump picked a Kennedy to be part of his team. The bad news, it's Robert Kennedy Jr., widely known as the guy who wrongly blames vaccines for the explosion in autism. Trump met with Kennedy at Trump Tower on Tuesday and asked him if he would chair a commission on vaccine safety, and Kennedy agreed. Trump has been known to peddle false science in claiming that vaccines are responsible for autism, a theory that has been widely debunked by the scientific community. Some celebrities, who are partly responsible for the quack ideas spreading to the masses, share the autism vaccine connection. In Texas last year, the pastor Robert Jeffries advised his parishioners to skip giving their children vaccines because of the autism link. And then Jeffries' church soon became a victim to a measles outbreak. But RFK Jr. has been the poster child of the autism vaccine movement, appearing in various documentaries on the topic. Kennedy even described vaccines as being a holocaust for children, a statement for which he eventually apologized.
Jeff Sessions, who's Trump's pick for Attorney General, has been participating in a marathon confirmation hearing that may extend into 2018. Sessions was questioned over past issues involving race, such as comments that indicated his past support for the Ku Klux Klan, which Sessions denied. Sessions also denied chanting "Lock her up" during campaign season as a reference to chants frequently heard by Trump supporters demanding that Hillary Clinton be put in jail for using her private email. Sessions was interrupted from his various denials by various protesters who popped up every hour or so to vocalize their disgust with Sessions. Many of the protesters chanted "Black Lives Matter" before they were ushered out of the building. A man dressed as a KKK member also stood outside at the doorway to greet Sessions. When questioned about Trump's idea for a Muslim ban in the U.S., Sessions said he would not support such a plan. However, Sessions did say that Muslims from certain countries should be subjected to further scrutiny due to their beliefs, which is pretty much already the case under President Obama. Sessions followed these questions up by declaring that the religious liberty is important to him, but freedom of choice, not so much. Sessions is a Republican after all, and he showed his stripes by calling Roe v. Wade, quote, one of the worst Supreme Court decisions of all time. Sessions faced a secondary hearing earlier today where he was castigated for his past views on civil rights by Senators Cory Booker and John Lewis, who marched alongside Martin Luther King Jr. at Selma. Lewis delivered the most stirring speech of all, recounting his experiences marching with King in order to show how civil disobedience and peaceful protests can produce change. He said that we need someone who can stand up for people who need help and who are discriminated against. Unfortunately, Sessions fell into a quick nap during Lewis's speech and woke up confused. In contrast, the confirmation for incoming Homeland Security Chief John Kelly lasted about as long as a morning dump. Kelly, a retired Marine four-star general, answered questions like he was out having beer with the boys, describing his impressive resume and relatively moderate views. Kelly got a roaring endorsement from the confirmation committee, with Senator John McCain sheepishly asking if Kelly was free later to watch Empire back at his apartment. Kelly awkwardly said he had plans and left the hearing in a hurry.
The Washington Post is questioning whether Alibaba CEO Jack Ma will be able to deliver on his promise to bring 1 million jobs to the U.S. Ma met with President-elect Donald Trump yesterday to discuss Alibaba's operations in the U.S. The Post pointed out that the entire U.S. labor force is 150 million people, meaning that 1 million jobs would mean that 1 out of every 150 people would be working for Alibaba, an unrealistic scenario. They also pointed out that Alibaba currently only employs 30,000 people. Even its giant American competitor Amazon only employs 300,000 people, making the Alibaba claims even more suspect. Media outlets heralded that Ma promised to deliver 1 million jobs to the country, but in reality, Trump's press secretary said that Alibaba would enable 1 million U.S. small businesses to sell goods into the China and Asian marketplace, a very different situation. Alibaba operates much like Amazon in that it provides a marketplace for businesses to sell their goods. So what Ma is talking about is not exactly creating jobs, but creating a platform for business. Still, Trump says he hopes to meet with the CEOs of Amazon and eBay to discuss the creation of a gazillion new jobs by next year.
Fox News quietly settled a sexual harassment claim against host Bill O'Reilly to make the issue go away, according to leaked documents anonymously sent to the New York Times. The claim originates in 2011 when Fox News personality Juliette Huddy said that O'Reilly frequently made sexual remarks to her, calling her late at night and pressuring her to accompany him on dates. Another claim was made by Huddy against the company's co-president Jack Abernathy, who Huddy says also made unwanted advances towards her. Huddy didn't file a lawsuit but received a payout from the company to prevent the information from leaking out. Last year, Fox chairman Roger Ailes was removed from the company after he was the subject of several sexual harassment claims. In that suit, host Gretchen Carlson received a $20 million judgment from Fox. Huddy received a 6-figure settlement in return for agreeing not to file suit against Fox or O'Reilly. In the leaked deposition, Huddy said that O'Reilly repeatedly attempted to have sex with her. She also says that O'Reilly would call her late at night, with Huddy claiming that he sounded like he was masturbating over the phone. O'Reilly was sued by former associate producer Andrea Macris, who also said that he tried to initiate phone sex with her. The case reached a settlement before Macris was able to reveal the recorded calls between her and O'Reilly. The O'Reilly Factor host addressed the issue on his show, with O'Reilly keeping his hands under his desk and noticeably shaking throughout the explanation. Viewers noted that a bottle of baby oil also sat on the desk.
Yuck. A survey has found that 2/3 of female workers reported harassment in restaurants owned by the incoming Department of Labor head Andrew Puzder. Puzder ran CKE restaurants, which includes Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. Some of the female workers mentioned that customers remarked that they weren't dressed like the girls in the commercials, a reference to the scantily clad women that populate advertisements for the company. Another said that she frequently got sexualized notes left on tables from customers, while others said that customers constantly flirted and asked staff out on dates. Sexual harassment is a regular problem at fast food restaurants, with 40% reporting that they've been victims of harassment at work. At CKE restaurants, this number was 66%. CKE restaurants have also found themselves on the end of multiple lawsuits related to worker pay and dangerous work conditions. In the survey, 32% said that they were denied meal breaks, and 79% said that they had handled food when they were sick. A spokeswoman for CKE said that the allegations were attempts to smear the chain by labor groups. Elizabeth Johnson said that the sexual harassment claims were exaggerated and that labor unions used deceitful tactics, such as wearing short skirts to excite customers. After reading the report, Fox host Bill O'Reilly reportedly got a craving for a burger and decided to eat out.
This was Sean Madrid
and Luke Goodhart for 5 on 20 News. Next up, Sophie Gibson-Rush tells us what's what with local music this week.
Gibson Rush, here to share with you what's current or quality in local music this week. Once upon a time, when I was on tour with a band, we stopped in Olympia to play a show at a place called Obsidian. It was a cool coffee shop bar place with a respectably sized venue in the back and a very, very talented sound guy. It was one of the best shows we played, and no one came except for the sound guy. You'd be hard-pressed to find a musician who hasn't played a show for an audience of 0. Musicians are used to playing shows for a handful of people or a bar full of people who would rather you weren't there. While shows like this can be both fun and good practice, I'd venture that most musicians would choose the opposite. There are tons of options for entertainment today. Going to a show is often one of the least exciting of those options. Who wants to go see the local band play at Congress when they can go see the latest turd from Michael Bay in 3D? They can just listen to the band's first single for free on SoundCloud when they get home. The local music market is also flooded with new bands popping up like Whack-A-Mole and 4-hour quadra-billed shows. The abundance of choice tends to wash out individuality, and bands need to work twice as hard to distinguish themselves in order to gain audience members. Similarly, there's so much noise on social media that bands are getting fewer and fewer new fans through that forum. But in order to make it, or whatever we're calling it these days, bands need to consistently draw well. When you draw well or sell out, then you move on to bigger and better venues. When you get this kind of exposure, then you get the attention of musical fairy godmothers like agents or management companies and record labels. And then you get to party with the Hadids. So how do you do it? How does a band cut through the noise? How does a band move beyond an audience of its friends and moms to a genuinely attentive and loyal fan base? I've compiled some ideas from the breeding grounds of the internet and some late-night conversations I've had. So here they are. First, support your scene. Go to shows, learn about everyone and everything that's out there. Become known as a loyal concert goer, and the favor will likely be returned. It's a tit-for-tat kind of friendship, but it's a friendship all the same. I also have a less jaded point here. If you're passionate about music, that rubs off on even the most cynical of musicians. A truly excited and inspired concert goer is hard to miss. Second, establish your identity and then make as many people see it as possible. Make a logo. Logos can be cool, I promise. Put your logo on everything you do. Insist that it's displayed on the venue's website. Yes, I think you need to put up posters. Remember what I said about social media not connecting to fans anymore? We're backsliding here. If people see your logo in enough coffee shops, they're eventually going to check you out online, especially if it's an evocative or creatively imagined logo. Use the power of the internet. When people eventually do check out your music, make sure it's easily available to them. Make a good website, Facebook, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, or all of the above. Make sure you proudly display your upcoming show dates. Make sure your music is right there, ready to listen to. And please make it pretty. Play a lot, but not too much, and spread it out. This one is tough. There are very few venues in Tucson, it's true, but I bet there are a lot more than you think. One way to gain a larger audience is to play in places and for demographics you wouldn't normally hang out with. What are the Foothills up to these days? Mount Lemmon? Midtown? Your most loyal supporters might come from a place you've never considered playing at. Spreading it out also solves the issue of playing too much in a small area, like downtown Tucson, which fatigues audiences. Reach out politely to local radio publications and blogs. Be nice. If you have a contact, use them, but offer them true friendship and maybe a perk to sweeten the deal. Be a gentleman about it and buy the lady a drink. Having good publicity skills is imperative. A little bit of enthusiasm and humility goes a long way. Oh, and did I say support your scene? Well, I'll say it again. Get your butt to one show once a week and we'll go from there. I feel like all of this comes to one main point, and it's this. Forget about being cool. Be passionate instead. Humans sense sincerity like a shark smells blood, and damn, we love it. This week, the Tucson Jazz Festival is starting and going through the end of January. Check out their website for the full event listing. On Friday at 1 p.m., cellist Matt Heimovitz will set up his movable feast in the lobby of Hotel Congress. On Friday evening, local saxophone virtuoso Alex Weitz will release his album at Club Congress. That's at 10 p.m. And Monday is the all-day downtown jazz fiesta. Tomorrow, Alfal, Naima Moore, and Eric Eulogy bring their singer-songwriter groove to Al's Club. Also tomorrow at 6, the Wanda Junes are playing at Metal Arts Village. Great band and super cool venue that's worth checking out. Tucson Fringe Festival promises low-cost performance opportunities to any act who wants it. Anyone can perform if they sign up before the deadline, which this year was on September 1st, so sorry, try again next year. The acts will be spread out between Flycatcher and Congress. With no official curation, this sounds like the best kind of pandemonium. That's on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. Also on the 13th is a dual album release with the Desert Beats, Lydian Osman, Golden Boots at Flycatcher. Lydian Osman and Golden Boots are Tucson classics, and this show is a great place to start practicing what I've been preaching. I'll be there on Friday evening. All right. Ciao for now, Tucson. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Stay lively and friendly for me.